Did you just hit the John Cena?
I did.
Welcome to episode 4 of Who Let Us Adult.
Episode 4.
Yes.
We in there.
Now, we talked about in episode 1 about like chaotic, and this is a true chaotic episode because we filmed this already, and we don't know where it went.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, we're pretty certain that one of the kids broke one.
We know which one. We know which one. Middle child energy. We're not going to name any names, but we know which one was messing with our mic. And
now it's broken.
So we're improvising. And shout out to you. Shout out to Ian, because I don't know what I would have done. I probably would have just been like, okay, kids, everyone get in the car. We got to go get a new mic right this second. Yeah. But Ian improvised and did all the technical. Man, you should have gotten into IT.
No.
You could have done some serious troubleshooting.
Possibly.
You would have been a mean IT tech support.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So shout out to you. But anyway.
So let's film it again. Here
we go. Who Let Us Adult? Welcome back to episode 4.
What are we talking about today?
We're talking about faith over hustle.
Faith over hustle.
But before we jump into that,
I was about to do that.
Hear about you.
Listen, great week.
You had a great weekend last weekend.
Yes. So, Chicago, Collecticon Chicago. A little follow up from last week's episode. So, Collecticon Chicago was amazing.
Yeah.
Normally, you go to the bigger shows with me, but where were you at this weekend?
I had a baby shower for one of my best friends. She's having her first baby, so got to celebrate her and baby Jay.
Yeah, shout out baby Jay.
Yeah, baby Jay. They don't know what they're having, so baby Jay is just from their last name, baby Jay. But yeah, the surprise. I think everyone.
Yeah. We did it once. I wish we would have done it twice, but we did it once.
But I do agree, do it one time.
Yes.
If you are going to have a baby, if you're pregnant and you haven't found out gender yet, definitely at least once.
It's more fun.
It was a pretty cool experience.
Yeah.
So I love that they're waiting, and people who are like, well, how will we know what kind of clothes to get the baby if we don't know what gender the baby is? Get neutral clothes, or
go buy the clothes,
or just wait until the baby's born.
Yeah.
And then you can get all the clothes the baby needs, because those first 0 to 4 weeks, they just need a couple sleepers.
Yeah. You're not really leaving the house.
Right. They just need a couple sleepers. They don't need all the cutesy stuff then anyways. So yeah, we did that. And then one of my other besties, Jeannie,
it was a girls'
you're probably
weekend.
Listening to this. We did have a girls' weekend. Kai went to his cousin's house, so we had a girls' weekend. Girls' night, sleepover, and Sunday went to church. Great service. The message was about masculine men, husbands stepping up, which I was like, period. My husband's already there. Love that. But other men stepping up. And then later that night, we went and saw Brandon Lake in concert.
How awesome was that?
It was amazing.
Side note, Thursday of this week, I went to the Blue Jackets game. And Brandon Lake was at the Shot and Scene Center, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah.
So one of my buddies over at PNC, I asked him, I was like, yeah, so out of curiosity, did you have tickets to the Brandon Lake concert? And he goes, yep, we had our suite. It was open. No one asked for it. So I have to remember when you want to do these events now to ask all my partners, because that would have been a free suite.
That would have been a free.
Booze,
I mean,
free.
I definitely booze at a. They had it. They were selling alcohol there, and I was like, what? Yeah, like
getting lady with the lower.
Getting lady with the lower.
Oh, Mom and Dad, I hope you're not watching that. Getting lady with the Lord.
Okay. Anyway.
So Brandon Lake was dope.
It was awesome. It was very cool. Christian concert, Christian country rock vibe, just a great show, and able to worship. We were able to worship, and some of his songs are specifically worship music.
Yep.
And then there's other songs that are Christian music. So it's talking about God. It has more of a story about maybe what he's overcome. And I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah.
And I think both of those are okay. It's like having a Christian song that's just a good song talking about your journey with the Lord, and
Right.
then there's a worship song where you are just hands up, praising God, like worshiping just how good and amazing He is.
Right.
So it was great.
Yeah. So Chicago's great. We sold like 90% of what I brought.
That's amazing. I
Which
love
is
that you had
crazy.
such a good time. Was Waka there?
No Waka.
Okay.
Which is weird because
Yeah.
I'm used to Waka being there, but no Waka this go around. They had a DJ there that was playing most of the the bangers. Shout out Golden.
And you said you had the one guy. Oh, you said shout out Golden.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not hurt.
Right.
Now, yeah.
The guy who created the Pokemon theme song, we call it the greatest one-hit wonder of all time.
Because it's still going.
He's still
and
going,
it's still
man.
a banger.
And
right?
it just goes to every
I wanna
Collecticon
be
and he
the
sings it.
very best.
Yes.
I liked the Atlanta Collecticon. Waka was there, but he didn't perform
He brought
because
Yin
he
Yang
brought
Twins,
out the
didn't
Yin Yang Twins, bro.
I wish we had.
That was so.
We had good views.
I was like, you got to run the table yourself because I am going over to listen to the Yin Yang
You
Twins.
abandoned me.
Oh,
I forgot you did abandon
it was
me.
banger, banger, banger. Oh my
And they were
God.
not editing, and that was the
Okay,
only.
that was.
My only thing is like, Waka was like editing his stuff when he did Cleveland.
Oh yeah, Yin Yang Twins did not.
They did not. We didn't land. We
No. I actually take that back. Yin Yang Twins did edit.
mildly.
The audience
Didn't edit.
did not edit.
You were definitely
Yeah.
missed. I enjoyed my time in Chicago. So we hinted a little bit about the start of this episode and faith over hustle. So what does that mean, honey?
Yeah, we're newly married and financially doing okay, but feeling like we could be doing better, and really just wanting to get to a place where we could breathe a little bit more. So it was, I feel like the hustle side and having success, how we viewed success back then, we viewed it through the lens of having a certain amount of money,
Right.
having a certain lifestyle,
Status.
a certain status, and we call ourselves ambitiously lazy.
Very true.
Because we have the ambition to work hard to do what it takes to get there, but it's with the goal of, being on the beach, sitting on the Lido deck of a cruise, Virgin Voyages.
Shout out Virgin.
Yes. We want to be cruisers like that. And we were in a season of our life where we were trying to figure out how do we get there?
Yeah.
So faith has
like?
always been a huge component of our life, but hustle and the hustle culture, we just really fell into that deep where we were like, hustle harder, grind, you got to grind your way to success, and, no sleep, no rest. Like it was,
No sleep, no glory.
yeah, you can sleep when you're dead. Like that type of mentality of like, if you're running on a few hours of sleep and, and you're eating, on the go all the time, and you're not sitting down with your family, but you're just like taking your family along with you and grind it out and do this. We bought into all of that. And we got to a place where we needed a shift. So that was a long-winded way of talking about what this episode is about.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about that. So hustling. Like you had mentioned before, we were newly married. I think Kyrie was maybe a year.
Yeah.
When we got introduced to a business team.
Yeah. And prior to that, we'd been looking at everything.
Yeah, I remember vivid conversations of you trying to convince me to rent out our front room on Airbnb.
Yeah.
And it was a hard no for me.
Oh yeah. I definitely could not sell you on that at all. But I was like, we could definitely do it. We could definitely rent that front room out for sure, especially because we were not far from downtown Columbus.
Yeah.
We could have done it. But we also looked at DoorDash and Uber Eats and Shipped and, a bunch of different things. I remember I was talking to a bunch of different people. My sister had just started in her real estate endeavor, and I was just gleaning a bunch of information from people to try to figure out what we wanted to do. And you were of the mindset, you probably are like, well, where was Ian during all of this? You tend to be like this, and it's one of the things that I love about you. Whenever I have an idea about something, it's like you want, before you like accept something or take something on, you're like, okay, show me everything and then we'll look over it together, because it was an idea that I initially had.
Yeah.
So you're like, don't give me this monkey until like we can sit down together. Exactly. Until we can sit down together and evaluate it, but don't like give this to me when I'm not the one who had the initial idea, which I respect that about you.
So I know, and this is, as I sat and thought about this episode, and where we were at that time, and I kind of remembered where I was, and what my initial plan was. My thought was, my dad was going to retire at some point. Mm-hmm. And I would take over his business. That's what I thought. Is that was my ticket. If that's how I think we get to that kind of the lifestyle that we thought that we wanted. And what happened was when we were introduced to this business team, and the people who eventually ended up becoming friends, but also our mentors. Mm-hmm. One of the things that stuck out to me was the idea of doing something together versus, running in two different directions.
Yeah.
And that really made me, kind of, okay, well, I'll push that idea of taking over, my dad's business to away and maybe look at this as a viable option. Mm-hmm. So we started a business, a multi-level marketing business.
Yep. If you're familiar with multi-level marketing or network marketing, that was the avenue that we ended up pursuing.
Yeah.
And it was, like you had said, where it was something that we could do together. Right. And we ended up really just falling in love with the community of people and the promises of mentorship, which we received. And it was great. And we went on this journey throughout that time of really discovering ourselves and how to be better in sales. For myself, you're a sales guru. Yeah. Like, you've been in sales your entire life and career and adult life. It's not like you were like pimped out.
Nah, I came out the womb. I came out the womb selling stuff, which actually might be true.
Right.
According to my parents.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we all like sold the candy bars, and we're trying to figure that out.
I was slinging Pokemon cards. Pokemon card slinging was a thing.
Exactly. So we were figuring out sales. We had this business ownership mindset, but we weren't really sure. Do we want to have a brick and mortar? Yeah. Do we want to franchise? Like, what do we want to do? So being involved with a business mentorship community, we were able to learn really like what we wanted. Yeah. What we wanted in life, what we wanted from a business. We were able to just jump in, and our ambition just like took off. Like, we were like we were sold out. We were bought in. We were like, we're going to reach the top. We're going to retire each other, from our jobs. And especially at that time, having, our oldest. Yeah, the crappy jobs back then, but having our oldest and being like, my dream was to stay home, be a stay-at-home mom and raise him.
The dream you never knew you had
until I started working a job. Yeah, I'm like, sorry, Mom and Dad, you paid for all this college, and then I realized I don't want to do anything with my degree.
I just want to stay home.
I just want to, look at recipes and make new recipes and take care of my home and my kids and, take care of you. Like, I brought you lunch the other day, and I was like, I want to serve my husband. Like, I was so happy to like bring lunch down to you. I just love doing that stuff. But yeah, we were all in. We were like, let's do this, right? And it was great.
And we were a part of that team for a little bit over, right about 6.5, 7 years. And I can say that some of the most fun times that we had were in those periods. I mean, growing together, just learning how to work together as a unit to, towards one singular focus and a dream was awesome. I mean, honestly, it really taught us how to dream again.
Yeah. It really did.
Really ignited that competitiveness that we had. I mean, with both of us being former collegiate sports, collegiate track athletes, we we both really, kind of had lost a little bit of that fire. So some of the
You can't just speed past that, especially if people are watching this.
I'm gonna
Like
speed
all of
past
a
it.
sudden, it's gonna
Edit,
cut,
baby.
edit, and now there's a baby here.
And now I woke up.
This is our life. This is our life recording with 3 children.
Like I mentioned before, those were some of the the most fun times that we had were during those 6 years, growing together and whatnot. Really learning how to work together. I think that's one of the reasons why our marriage is as strong as it is, because we learned how to be business owners together and learn how to feed off each other, as well as play in each other's strengths.
Oh yeah,
that's
absolutely.
a huge one. Is there are certain things, like, it's funny now because over the years this was way different, but if we go into a store, I love when you do this. If we're going to a store where we have to buy something, you automatically deflect to me.
Oh yeah.
And like you mail it back, and I'm like full on like, okay, this is how we're gonna do things. When we bought our cars, we buy everything. It's like that now. It feels like every big purchase. It's like that
for sure. Especially because I just recognize my weakness. My weakness is saying no to the salespeople, and they can spot me from a mile away.
Yeah.
So like when people knock on our door, they're like trying to sell, something's going on with your roof. I'm like, oh really?
What's going on with my roof?
I'm like, they're like, you need to purchase this $20,000. Oh, okay. Like,
Where do I sign?
Yeah, exactly. Are you struggling with mosquitoes? No, but yeah,
No, but I don't want to.
Exactly. It's like preemptively.
Yeah.
I don't want to struggle with mosquitoes, so
What are you gonna tell me?
yeah, let's
make me not
get
struggle
this
with
taken
mosquitoes.
care of. Yeah. So now I default to you. I'm like, this is a question for my husband. Yeah.
Which sometimes it's awesome, but also I'll be working in a ding dong, dang it.
But here we are.
We need to get a Ring doorbell. Ding ding ding.
So this is why it was good that you came along with me when we were introduced to our friends, our mentors. You were along.
Yeah.
Because if I would have been along, like I would have
signed up that day.
Yeah, I would have signed up day one. I would have been like, all right, let's do this. But you came along and we took our time and we evaluated everything. And yeah, it was just I remember the first meeting that we had, and you came and you had your hoodie on you had the hood up over your head, sweat.
Was with us.
You had your arms crossed. You were like, mm-mm. And I was like, this is why I married you, because if your posture changes and you start leaning in, I'm like, okay, there's something here, right? But I would have trusted you if you were like, no, absolutely not. And looking back, like it was such a great experience, and we had so much fun, and the people that we met, we still have friends now to this day that are some of our best friends that we met from that experience.
Yeah.
So, and we're still friends with our mentors. Yeah. They were incredible. But there was like a shift. There was a shift that happened where we spent so many years of our life doing that.
Yeah.
Chasing that. And we asked the question, are we chasing this to glorify God in everything that we do? Or are we chasing this to get a pat on our back?
Yeah.
And to glorify ourselves?
I can remember almost exactly the moment for me that it kind of shifted for me. I think I had just gotten home from going out and building the business, and I had looked at our very expensive kitchen table that we paid for when we bought this house. And I went, man, I cannot remember the last time. And, me, you, and at that time it was me, you, and Zuri had just been born. Maybe a few years. Yeah, Zuri was a couple years old. But I don't remember the last time that we had all sat down and just had a meal.
Family dinner. Yeah.
Around, like, together.
Yeah.
Around the table.
Absolutely.
And I think at that point I was like, yeah, I don't think the Lord would be happy with me knowing that we, as a family, were together separate.
Yeah, that's a very good way of putting it, that we were together separate. And we had singular focus. And it wasn't always, like, it wasn't including and incorporating our obedience to God, and our ambition was self-serving.
Yeah.
And it was, again, was the glory for him, or was it for, people to cheer for us because we hit that level and there's a room of people that are standing and clapping for us? Mm-hmm. And man, like, I could go on a side tangent here, but if anybody's familiar with Forrest Frank, the stuff that he's doing currently and the things that he's saying currently is very similar to that conviction that we had, mm-hmm. where he decided that he was bowing out of the Dove Award shows, which is a Christian award show.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to receive that award because he's like, the glory is for Jesus, it's not for me. And that makes, brought up a lot of questions and brings up good questions of like, it's not that the award itself is bad. It's not that somebody's standing up and saying, good job, I'm proud of you, like, that's awesome, for the hard work that you've done is bad. But it's your personal motivation behind it. And I think that our personal motivation, and I don't want to speak for you on this, but I think the conversations that we've had over the years, we realize, like, who are we doing this for? Mm-hmm. Why are we still chasing this? Why are we taking this time away from our family in the most important years of their life? And are we really being obedient to what the Lord has called us to do in this moment? Or have we gotten what we needed in this season? What he wanted us to get, how he wanted to mold us and fortify us, and it was just a season, and that was okay. But it was hard.
Yeah.
Resting was hard.
We didn't go on vacation for 5 years. Think about it. For 5 years, we didn't leave.
And these were decisions that we made.
Yeah. I mean, we stayed super focused on growing our business. We turned down a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, there were weddings we didn't go to.
Right.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because we didn't want to be distracted. But come to think of it, to an extent, towards the end, that probably say our business was a distraction. Yeah.
I think that there's people that can have success. You can have success in anything that you're doing, but what is the motivation in which you're pursuing it? Mm-hmm. And we just had to be okay with closing that chapter, graduating. I talked to a friend and we're like, we graduated because it was like a master's degree.
That was going to be my next thing. Things that we learned, we got a chance to grow up. As you said, we grew up, we took some of the skills that we learned in the meetings and reading all the books that we read, and listening to all the motivational talks, that we were able to get promotions in places, get behind some doors that we probably wouldn't have, gotten behind, me especially. And we're very grateful. So we moved on. Yeah. So we moved on. It's been almost 2 years now since we've been gone. Almost 2 years since we've been gone. Yeah. So I would like to ask you a couple of questions. Okay. The first question that we get is, do we hate the network marketing or multi-level marketing model or industry? Do you hate it?
That's such a funny question, because if you would have asked me 2 years ago when we first decided, we were going to step away, I definitely went through these stages of grief, right? I had to grieve that because it was so many years of our life. Yeah. Friendships built. Like, it was a hard decision to walk away. And also feeling like we failed. Yeah. That was hard, even though we know that we learned. It wasn't failing. Right. We learned. So, do we hate the network marketing industry? No.
No. Correct.
No, absolutely not. Because I learned so much personally. Together as a couple, we learned. We grew stronger.
Our marriage got
even stronger. Yeah. It was strong before. It got even stronger throughout because we had great people. That's not everyone's experience. Yes. But our experience was we had amazing people around us. Yeah. And this episode is not specifically about network marketing. This episode is about having faith over the hustle culture. So this could be a whole other episode where we could talk for hours about it.
My second question was going to be centered around what kind of impacts it made on our marriage and on us individually. I can really quickly go first and tell you that, like, our communication is 10 times better. We didn't really fight and argue before we got into business, but now we really don't. One of the biggest phrases that I love that we learned when we were growing our business was, if it doesn't matter in 5 years, it doesn't matter. Yeah. And I look at like petty arguments and disagreements that we get into, and I'm like, I say to myself, will this matter in 5 years? No, then I don't know why we're arguing about this.
Right, exactly.
And I know sometimes you don't want to hear that, but it's also very true. Yeah. That's great. The friendships, I mean, shout out Ronnie and T. Shout out
Grace and Brian.
Yeah, those are some of our best friends now. Yeah. Those are people that we never would have probably met if we weren't in the business for as long as we were.
Yeah.
Okay, so I gave you my thoughts on kind of where I was at. What about you? What kind of impacts would you give that?
How that experience impacted our relationship and me? I agree 100% with you. How it impacted our relationship. We're better at communicating. We're stronger there. Personally, I had women that held me accountable.
Yeah. And
if I'm being honest, I don't think women in this era want that. Like it's all about being like a girl's girl, And if you have never heard of that term before, it's just essentially like we support women supporting women type of mentality, but it's kind of hidden behind just affirming. Just saying everything you do is right. Typically, men are in the wrong and you're in the right. You're always in the right. Yes, whoever that other person that said that to you, they're wrong, you're right. And that's not good.
Toxic.
Yeah, that's very toxic.
Toxic femininity.
Yes, it is toxic femininity, 100%. And the women that I got around over the years, they helped me to not fall into that trap. I remember going to Chelsea, who was my mentor and still a good friend. I went to her and I was like, I hate how people at work, they always walk all over me and they disrespect me and this, that, and the other. And I was like venting to her. And a lot of friends, especially back then, would have been like, yeah, like that sucks. Like they're awful. Just agreeing with me, telling me everything that I want to hear and kind of puffing me up. And I remember she responded back and she was like, they're only doing that because you let them.
Shots fired.
It was just straight to the point. It was absolutely correct that I feel disrespected by people because I'm letting them disrespect me. It's like you can feel offended by people because you're letting them offend you. And she taught me so much. And the other ladies that I got around, like they had that same mentality of like teaching me to not be the victim. You are who you surround yourself with.
Yeah.
I wasn't around people in our young adult, young married life that challenged me in certain areas.
Or accountability.
Held me accountable. And then also from a friendship and a coworker standpoint, but also as a wife too, because I had real conversations with her that helped me to be a better wife to you, where I wasn't just blaming you for everything. I'm not 100% innocent in our disagreements. I am not always right. That's very hard to say.
I win arguments.
Sometimes Ian is right. Notice how I said sometimes.
Most.
No, I was able to take a step back and see things from your perspective. So I'm like, oh, wait a minute. It's not happy wife, happy life. It's happy spouse, happy house.
So yeah, we both agree that positive impact. We don't really have any hard feelings towards, the business model. I would even tell people, hey, listen, like if my kid came up to me and said, hey, I want to do this, I'd be like, absolutely, go learn, go get your master's degree in business ownership, because we learned so much in there that has furthered our marriage and our lives. So 1000%.
How do you think that faith impacted us as we were recalibrating our priorities?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things, and I kind of look back to Genesis when it talks about creation. We believed before when we were in the business that every day was go, 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 go. If you're not doing something, you're going backwards. You're not moving forward. So we never took a vacation. We never, really took a day off.
It was hard.
Heck, for a few years, we didn't watch any TV. We missed out on the whole Game of Thrones,
Okay,
rage.
beyond Game of Thrones, this man is a diehard
Ohio
Steelers
State
fan and Ohio State fan.
I didn't watch any of the games.
Except
for the Super Bowl.
For what,
almost 3 years.
3 years of the time?
3 years with no OSU football is wild, by the way.
Because we're like coming up. I know that you're looking at your clock. You're like, okay, it's almost 3:30. Like, it's time for the game. We carve out time.
Yeah.
Like, you make sure like we are available to watch. There was some event that we had. I can't remember what we had a wedding to go to. This is a side tangent. We had a wedding to go to, and Abby was in town, and she was like, you want to meet up early in the afternoon, bring Ian, the kids, da, 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 da. And I'm like, yeah, I think we could make that happen. You're like, but what about the game?
The game's
You
on.
were like, the game's on. I text her back, and I was like, Ohio State's playing. And literally, she was like, I knew Ian was going to say that.
She knows better.
Yeah, so.
It's funny, another side one, because I just came back from Chicago. So ironically, when I was in Chicago, Ohio State played Illinois.
Yeah.
So I had the game on behind me
Right.
with an AirPod in my ear as I'm like
I'm sure
selling
you were
cards.
just like.
People were
just
like, "What are you doing?"
hooting and
Oh, you're
hollering.
watching the game.
Yeah. So back to Genesis.
Yes. So, it talks about that the Lord created the earth in 6 days, and then what did He do on day 7? He rested. And
Amen.
that was just something that we didn't do. Like, exhausted all the time, up late, lived off of energy drinks, and
I was like, we thrived on that.
thrived on energy drinks and other things just to grow our business, and that just wasn't sustainable.
Right.
So we that's one of the things that I realized, that it's okay to take a break. Sometimes it's good to take a week off and go to Florida and enjoy the sun. And the beach.
And sometimes I have to remind you, because in what you're doing now with vending and with your job, with working, like you're such a hard worker. That's one of the things, like when we first started dating, you worked. Like I would be like, can you miss today so we can go to the movies or something? And you were like, no, I have to work. Like getting you to like miss a day of work is far and few between. Like you miss when you absolutely like have to miss work. Like you'll put PTO in. So there are weeks where you'll work 7 days a week. And it's, even though the weekend, what you're doing on the weekend is something that you love and that you're passionate about, that's still working 7 days a week. So sometimes I have to remind you, like, hey, it's okay to like take this weekend off or take a break, or okay, put a PTO day in, and just like
this is my off weekend
take a minute for yourself and just like reset. So the faith component of like resetting, resting, even though it felt hard, it helped us to recalibrate, and it helped us to just get back to godly ambition. Because now we're in this season right now of our life of having that godly ambition. It's not wrong to be ambitious.
Right.
It's not wrong to go after your goals. So that was kind of the faith reset.
This is also how you avoid burnout. I mean, the next thing that we're going to talk about is, well, how do you stay on task and not, backslide back into that hustle? And for me, it's honestly, it's having you there to like, hey, slow down. Because I just got back from Chicago.
I'm your helpmate.
Yes, I just got back from Chicago. My first initial thought was, all right, go, 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 go. And you're like, yo, slow down. Like, I understand that things are coming up, but you need a rest. And you've been going for the last couple weeks preparing for this show. Now it's relaxing. So it's for me, it's you telling me, and ironically, we haven't really talked about the stuff that you're doing on the dance side.
Yeah.
And I'm over here telling you, like, hey, I'm hitting you with the gun every night. Like, I need you to rest.
Yeah. We both need each other
Yeah.
to remind ourselves to like slow down in different ways. Like yours is like not booking yourself so, busy all the time. And then mine is like physically, I need to be able to adjust like my dance classes and stuff like that so that I can physically meet that demand for the long haul. But there was a quote that I thought of that I think is so fitting to that shift that happened for us. And we learned God isn't impressed by our grind. He's moved by our trust.
Yeah.
So putting that trust that as we were closing one door and entering into a new season, as, something that we didn't mention was right after we decided to, switch gears, switch lanes, then I was laid off from my job.
Yeah.
I got into a car accident, hit a deer, like all of these things started happening. And then it's like, did we make the right decision? Because I feel like the enemy is like coming at us, like pouring it on. So maybe we made the wrong decision. Maybe this is like us not being obedient. But at the same time, that allowed me to step away from my job, even though it wasn't my choice. I was pregnant at the time, and then I was able to fulfill my dream, which was to be a stay-at-home mom. And then you stepped up from a work perspective, and you were like, if that's what you really want to do, like, we'll make this work.
Right.
And then everything else just figured out. So it was like God was not impressed by our grind. We spent all those years like grinding. And then all these things happened, like when we decided to shift, where we felt like everything was being thrown at us all at once. And we just I remember just being like, surrendering.
Yeah.
And be like, we'll figure out the car. We'll figure out the money. We'll figure it all out because we're just going to trust God. It doesn't mean that we're going to stop and we're not going to take action and we're not going to work and come up with ideas. But we're going to allow him to like give us the creativity,
Another thing that this came from our time in the business was, once again, we learned how to work together.
Oh, yeah.
That saying all the stuff that happened after we left the business could have wrecked a lot of marriages.
Oh, yeah.
And, we had conversations on, okay, should we sell the house and downsides? Should we, should you get a part-time job? Should you go back into full-time work? Like, should I get a second job? It all, came fruition, but we did just, we figured it out.
We figured it out, yeah.
Figured it out together, really. We talked
and
about
these,
it.
And the good, I think the real, like if we're going to kind of embody this podcast of like, who let us adult? We don't have it all figured out. Mm-hmm. These conversations, they were not like, hey, and we don't have to hash it all out, what those conversations were like, but I think just being real, letting people know, like, these were tough conversations that we were having,
and ones that didn't happen all in one sitting.
This was time that we were spending coming back and revisiting this and having these conversations. Like when we were in those moments when we were filled with like, oh, I feel like this is getting a little
tight,
a little heated, we stepped away and we prayed for each other.
Yeah. That
is just such a huge centerpiece, foundation for our relationship.
And of course, as a whole, our marriage continued to get stronger. So one of the things that I want to do is encouragement for our listeners out there that, you can still dream big and work hard. Just don't lose the plot. Don't lose your peace. You know what I mean? Don't lose your proof. You don't lose your worth in the meantime, and always keep everything God-centered.
Don't lose the plot trying to prove it. Trying to prove your worth, because you're already worthy. Mm-hmm. You're already worthy in God's eyes. So, no, that was awesome.
Yes.
I think that's perfect. Having the ability to work hard. We're healthy. We're young in our marriage. We have a young family. Like, we have the ability to work hard, and so we're not going to waste that.
Yeah.
We're not going to sit here and be like, well, we need to rest, so we're just not going to do anything. Like, no, we're still going to work hard and trust God, but we're going to make sure that we're not burning ourselves out.
Right.
By just grind, and falling into this hustle culture, make more money, and then letting money and letting things be the idol.
Right.
It's putting that on the pedestal. That is not our golden calf. Mm-hmm. Our golden calf, we don't have a golden calf.
Yeah, wait.
Wait. Wait a minute. Let me tell you something. We don't have a golden calf, okay? We're worshiping God in everything that we do. So when I'm doing the dishes, when I'm folding laundry, when I'm taking care of the kids, like, that's a whole other conversation for another day from, like, a motherhood perspective of being able to worship God. But with this podcast, like, that, us starting this, it was like, God, just use us.
Yes.
Just use us.
So to wrap up, I'm going to end with this quote that I absolutely love. So if you guys are listening to this and feel burnt out or behind, here's what we want you to know. What if God's delay isn't a denial? It's just a detox. And that really hit us. That's kind of how we were. Like, we didn't want to feel like we were by delaying, we were denying ourselves something. God was telling us, hey, listen, like, you need to cleanse.
Yeah.
And let me cleanse.
And that is where we are at. Yeah.
And that's where we're like, whew, that's what's made the journey that I'm on.
Yeah.
That, I guess that we're on, because we work together on this. Yeah. So fun. And that's what makes the journey that she's going to embark on when she does more stuff with her dancing. Mm-hmm. It's going to make it more fun because the Lord has cleansed us and allowed us to kind of see the correct path. Yeah. So, honey, you have any closing thoughts?
We thought we were chasing success. Turns out God was chasing us.
Banger.
Yeah.
Let them know who our fake sponsor of the week.
Sponsor of the week.
Fake sponsor of the week.
This is a surprise. Okay. I just thought of this, actually.
Let it rip.
Our fake sponsor of the week is Rode.
Rip Mike.
Rip. R.I.P. Or, what is this? DGI.
DGI.
Our fake sponsor of the week. We are not sponsored by DGI, but DGI came in clutch. So I hope the sound quality is good. Yeah. I love the little fluffy mic. I feel like an influencer. Ew.
Gross.
Yeah, so that's it. That's all we have.
Listen, you guys can find us wherever you listen to your podcast: Apple, Spotify, YouTube. Anything I'm forgetting?
Yeah, you got to catch us every Sunday at noon for new episodes. This week is Faith over Hustle, and next week you guys are going to have to come back and find out what we're going to do next week.
Yeah, I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, neither do I. We'll figure it out. All right, bye.
See you guys.
That was good.
Hey, look at that. A little fade out.
Hey. 6-7.